Hello, good morning. My name is Urwaka Mimo, and this is Cheche, the show where opinion counts live on Citizen TV. Now, trouble in neighboring countries usually means nervousness in the region. That trouble, according to South Sudan's President Salva Kiir, is an attempted coup early this week. Thousands of people are sheltering at UN camps. Hundreds are said to have been injured, with scores killed in the ensuing clampdown. Kenya does have a stake in the fate of Africa's youngest country. The comprehensive peace agreement that ended the civil war was brokered here. There are thousands of Kenyans living and working in South Sudan and millions of shillings of Kenyan investments in the country. Now, to help us understand, but also Kenya's foreign ministry assures us that the Kenyans living in South Sudan are all safe. So to make sense of it all, we have as our guest today South Sudan's ambassador to Kenya, Majok Guandong. We also have a full panel comprising of Mutegi Njau and Waweru Mburu, both of Royal Media Services. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Morning and thank you.
Tell us exactly what's happened. Was it a coup or not?
Yes, of course. This thing happened on the 6th of December. A group of SPLM leaders led by the former vice president.
6th or 16th?
6th of December. Held a press conference in Juba where they were able to criticize the President of the Republic, His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayadi. And the following day, the current Vice President, James Waniga, also held a conference to rebuttal or to answer back about the charges. At the time the President was in Paris, he came on a Sunday, and he never said anything. The following day, he left for South Africa to attend the funeral of late Nelson Mandela. When he came back, he came here and attended the Golden Jubilee of Kenya independence, and the same day he went back home. The following day, the President opened the meeting of the National Liberation Council of the SPLM, the ruling party, and those groups also participated in the opening of the NLC meeting. They attended also the first session on the second day, but in the afternoon they did not return. At the night or evening of that day, which was Sunday, fighting broke out at the Southern Command of the Sudan People Liberation Army headquarters, south of Juba. And this thing was gated by the element who wanted to overthrow the government through illegitimate means.
Okay. When you say the group attended the meeting?
Yeah, they attended the opening session of the NLC.
Who is this group?
The group that was led by the former Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, who was the deputy chairman of the ruling party.
So Machar was in that meeting?
He was in the meeting.
But in the afternoon, he didn't come?
The following day, he came in the morning, but they did not turn up in the afternoon.
Okay. What steps have you taken to contain this? Because we understand that there have been 2 days of fighting so far. As I said in my introduction, we hear that scores of people have been killed, hundreds have been injured, thousands are taking shelter at various camps, missions in Juba.
Well, it is unfortunate that a group of politicians resort to military means of trying to overthrow the legitimate government. The government is doing its best to secure the people. As we speak now, the government is in control of Juba because the military situation only took place in Juba and it has not spread to other states. As up to yesterday, Juba city was cleared from all these elements and it's now safe to return. And today, the international airport will be open. And the government has urged all the business people to open their shops so that people have food and the necessary things for living.
I'll take you up on that because today's Kenyan newspapers say that Kenyans there are stranded. They're asking to be evacuated. And it's really not just the Kenyans, it's all the foreigners there who've been hiding, who are running out of food, water, and other supplies. Your hospitals are running out of the supplies they need to treat the injured. But you're giving us a picture of calm returning.
Well, you know, where in any situation where there's military actions between two groups, definitely there's bound of people losing their way of life. People will definitely be trying to get into cover for safety. And I think it is not only Kenyans that are affected, but I think all the people in Juba, including South Sudanese. But what I can assure you that all the Kenyans are safe, and they are sharing the same situation with the people of South Sudan as brothers.
Your Excellency, probably you need to tell us what is the cause of all this, because it appears South Sudan is taking the path that Africa has taken for the last 50 years. And the concern is if the situation continues or deteriorates, it is going to affect the neighboring countries or the region. And Salva Kiir is accused of being...
Let him answer your first question.
Yeah.
Well, I think the cause of this thing are just fighting for political power. I think the former vice president had attempted a coup to overthrow the legitimate government of President Salva Kiir. And that was the cause, because, you know, human beings are not the same. We have a constitution that will allow people to go for election in 2015. We are a multi-party system. And even within the ruling party, there's room for dialogue and discussion. And that's why when the president opened the NLC meeting, although the agenda, the single agenda was to pass the document of the ruling party, but that group had also a chance to rule there where they were supposed to discuss and they were supposed to air out their grievances. But they did not do that. They resorted to military means, and that's why the situation is as
you were asking a question, really, were about Salva Kiir and his style of leadership.
Yeah, the style of leadership is being accused of dictatorship. There is a lot that is happening on corruption, and these people talk about it openly, that you find even police officers on the road literally asking for money by force. Is it that people are not seeing the dream of independence?
Well, I think those who are accusing the president of the dictatorship tendency would be the people who are opposed to him. And of course, you expect somebody who is opposed to you, you can create anything that will label on you that you have done this, you have done that, you have done that. But I think the president, is going according to our constitution, the constitution of the ruling party, and there's room for democracy within the ruling party, and there's room for democracy within the country, which has been stipulated by the constitution.
The genesis of this was that the former vice president was sacked.
Yes.
He still remains in the party.
Yes, he was sacked as the vice president.
Yes.
But he still remains as deputy chairman of the ruling party.
Okay.
Is that a contradiction?
Well, it is not a contradiction. I think within one party, it's not necessary that all the people can be in government. So you can still be in a party, but it's still part and parcel of the ruling party.
Okay, but
what is evidence? What is evidence that him, Machar, was involved? What evidence does the government have?
The step he made since the 6th of December. All those steps were leading to the act that happened.
Can you give a gist of them? What is it?
Well, he held a press conference
to criticize the government.
Yeah, criticizing
which is legitimate. Which is a legitimate criticism.
Yeah,
it was not a military action.
Yeah, of course,
it was
entitled. That's
exactly.
why the president did not react when they made the press conference. The president was away. They should have waited for the president to come first, but they did it. But they were also allowed to do that, and nobody, even when the president returned from Paris, he did not say anything. He left the following day. That one was legitimate and it is allowed. But When now they resort to the means of the arms.
But
what
evidence?
is the evidence?
What is the evidence?
That he is involved in this armed rebellion, if you want to call it
Because
that?
you had an opportunity to talk.
The evidence is that that evening, on Sunday, in the afternoon, they did not return to the meeting. Secondly, people were just surprised that there was an attack on the headquarters of the army south of Juba. And thirdly, I think most of them, they were in hiding. Some of them went to the...
It is reported that the president asked that the Rebecca, the wife of the former
Rebecca
president,
Garang,
should not be arrested. Why then would you arrest Machar or those others that were involved?
Well, I'm not aware about that, but I know that Mama Rebecca, she's in her house in Juba now as we speak. But I haven't heard that the president one that said that she should not be arrested, and therefore, Machar, this is something that I am not aware.
The question I think that my colleagues here are trying to ask you is, do you have evidence of meetings with Riek Machar and the armed elements who fired on this military base? And what connection can you make between that outbreak of firing and these people who've been criticizing the government? The two are not necessarily, the same.
Those elements within the army that triggered the fight are supporters of the former vice president. That is something was evident. The government came out with a statement.
They could have been acting on their own.
And that it was very clear. Then if they were not part and parcel of those groups, why would they hide? What would be the reason?
But we have seen, Your Excellency, coups in Africa being used to crack down on people with a different voice.
It happened here in '82.
It has happened in not only...
Well, we have a constitution which is respecting human rights, the rule of law. I think some of these people will be brought to court to answer for charges. And if they are found that they were not part of this, they will also be set free. But if the evidence came out very clearly that they were part and parcel of this, the law will take its course.
The president is known to be a very cool man, but when he appeared to address the nation, he was wearing an army fatigue. What does that say?
Well, the president is the commander-in-chief of the Sudan People Liberation Army. The president is the president of the republic. Definitely, when there is military situation, he has to be in uniform because after all, he's a general in the army.
Isn't this just a symptom of the fact that South Sudan, even though it is now independent, hasn't